horrendous.
Yes, 5-1 it would finish. ESPN FC is presented by Xfinity. The Wi-Fi is booming. Let's now welcome in Julien Laurent to talk more about what we saw in this game. Hello, Jules. Great to have you with us. Chelsea coming from behind there to get a big win and pile the misery on West Ham in this early stages of the season.
Yeah, and without Cole Palmer as well, who was supposed to start and then got injured during the warm-up. That's why Estevao started and had a really good first start for Chelsea in the Premier League this season. I mean, we won't repeat what we said last season about Graham Potter and how overrated he is and not good he is, not good enough as a manager in the Premier League. We've said that enough last season when he had not a very good time after taking over Julian Lopetegui, but the start of the season is horrendous for West Ham. The defeat at Sunderland was bad enough last weekend. This is probably even worse because yes, they took the league with that Paqueta's solo goal, but after that they were just non-existent, completely overplayed by a Chelsea team that is still not ready physically. And you could see Estevao was bright and sharp because he had a proper pre-season during the Club World Cup and before that and in between, whereas the others are still getting to grips with their fitness. So it's just another bad night for Graham Potter and West Ham, and a very good one for Chelsea after the draw that we saw against Palace last weekend.
Yeah, and a very good one for Chelsea as well, Frank, given the fact that, as Jules mentioned, Cole Palmer did pull up injured in the warm-up.
Yes, and it was for us an opportunity to see João Pedro taking the positioning of Cole Palmer, and that was quite effective. So we talked about it last week, and we can see that there is a possibility that Cole Palmer can rest at some time. I don't know how long he's going to be injured, and João Pedro can take over, so that was a good thing. Yes, the players are not physically at 100%, not ready yet, but West Ham did exactly what they had to do to make sure that Chelsea wins. They opened the doors, and at front, the front line is so fast, so technically good that it's impossible to cope with them. So we saw last week that with a team who knows how to defend, like Crystal Palace, it's very hard for Chelsea to find spaces and to give pace into the game. Today, except the first 10 minutes, that was easy peasy for everybody, and there was a one-way traffic. So well done to the players. They reacted well. They scored many goals. Full of confidence, perfect for Chelsea.
They were certainly helped along by West Ham's defence today. However, Enzo Maresca has talked about being more efficient in front of goals, and after no goals against Crystal Palace last time out, 5 today has got to make him happy.
Yeah, again, you can only play what's put in front of you, and so from that point of view, you're creating chances, both in open play and from set pieces. You're taking them, and you could maybe have done better with 2 or 3 other ones. And as Frank said, they're not 100% fit. So if you're a Chelsea fan or Maresca, you're absolutely delighted with this performance. I mean, coming into it without Cole Palmer as well. Again, if you're Maresca, you're thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to play the kid. But again, as Joe said, the kid was fantastic for the first half.
Estevao coming in and making that difference, making an impact, another great sign.
Yeah, and I think what you can appreciate from Estevao right away, that even though he may be slight in terms of his size, in terms of the lack of physicality, if you will, he has no fear. He takes on defenders, gets a hold of the ball, and I'm facing up, I'm getting after somebody, I'm going to dribble somebody, I'm going to take on a defender, I'm going to be a difference maker. If you had any doubts as to what is it that you can do in this league, you would take a touch back and then kind of find support from the trailing player and then kind of make yourself available, 1 and 2 touches, and we move on with our lives. Estevao, anytime he grabs the ball, he's saying, I'm going after this guy. I'm not even thinking about playing backwards. I'm already positioned my body to get after defenders. Now, it helps to get after the West Ham defenders. That also helps quite a bit because they can't move. They cannot move. Even playing with 3 center defenders, they stay so tight because they don't want to go out into wide areas. And the reason they don't want to go out into wide areas is because on the turn, it's difficult for them to get on the move and get on the turn. Estevao took full advantage of that. Chelsea took full advantage of that. It was impressive from Chelsea's perspective in the attack, and it was impressive from Estevao's perspective as well.
Right, Chelsea fans, gather round because we've got some absolutely brilliant developments coming out of the London Stadium that had even the pundits on their feet. What we witnessed was nothing short of spectacular. A young Brazilian talent, showing exactly why the Blues invested so heavily in his future. Let me paint you the picture. Cole Palmer pulls up injured in the warm-up, leaving Enzo Maresca with a massive decision to make. Does he play it safe or throw in the 18-year-old lad who's been turning heads at Cobham? Well, our Italian gaffer didn't hesitate for a second. He handed Estêvão Willian his first Premier League start, and bloody hell, what a decision that turned out to be. Before we dive deeper into this absolute masterclass, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We've got all the inside stories from Stamford Bridge that you won't find anywhere else. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next in this incredible season. Now, here's what had Ale Moreno absolutely buzzing on ESPN FC. This kid showed absolutely no fear whatsoever. None. You'd expect an 18-year-old making his first start in the Premier League to take a touch, look for support, maybe play it safe. Not our Estevão. Every single time he got the ball, his body was already positioned to attack the defender in front of him. No backward passes, no hesitation, just pure attacking instinct that had the West Ham defense in absolute shambles. The beauty of what we saw wasn't just the individual brilliance, mind you. This was a Chelsea side that had been frustrated against Crystal Palace, struggling to find those killer passes and create meaningful chances. With Palmer out injured, many thought we might see more the same static play. Instead, Estevão brought that spark of unpredictability that completely changed our dynamic going forward. What made his performance even more impressive was how he handled the physicality of the Premier League. Let's be honest, he's not the biggest lad on the pitch, but he never shied away from one-on-one situations. He was taking on defenders left, right, and center, getting himself into dangerous positions and creating opportunities not just for himself, but for his teammates as well. That assist for Enzo Fernandez's goal, pure class. The vision, the execution, the composure under pressure. The contrast with West Ham's approach couldn't have been starker. While they sat deep with their three centre-backs, looking terrified to venture into wide areas because they knew they'd be exposed on the turn, Estevão was exploiting every inch of space available. He took full advantage of their defensive frailties, but credit where it's due. He created those advantages through his own movement and decision-making. João Pedro stepping into Palmer's role showed our squad depth perfectly, but it was the Brazilian connection that really caught the eye. Having Estevão providing that direct threat from wide positions opened up so much space for Pedro to operate centrally. You could see the understanding developing in real time, and that's exactly what Maresca will have been hoping for when he planned this tactical setup. This performance raises some fascinating questions about our attacking options going forward. With Palmer such a crucial player for us, knowing we've got someone like Estevão ready to step in and not just fill the gap, but actually change our entire attacking approach. That's massive for our season prospects. The lad's shown he can handle the pressure of a London derby, and more importantly, he's shown he can be a difference maker when the chips are down. What struck me most about the analysis was how mature Estevão looked in possession. Yes, he's got that explosive pace and those silky skills that get you off your seat. But he also showed game intelligence beyond his years. He knew when to take risks and when to keep things ticking over. That's not something you can teach. That's pure footballing instinct. The timing couldn't be better either. With a packed fixture list ahead, having someone who can come straight into the first exam and perform at this level gives Maresca so many more tactical options. We're not just talking about a promising youngster who might come good. We're looking at someone who's already contributing at the highest level. For those wondering about the comparison to other Brazilian talents who've graced Stamford Bridge, there's definitely echoes of that fearless approach we've seen before. But Estêvão's bringing something uniquely his own to this Chelsea side. That combination of technical brilliance and tactical awareness that suggests he's going to be absolutely crucial to our ambitions this season. The message from this performance is crystal clear. When opportunity knocks at Chelsea, you better be ready to answer with authority. Estevão didn't just answer that knock. He kicked the door down and announced himself to the Premier League in the most emphatic way possible. That's what champions are made of, and that's exactly the mentality we need running through this entire squad.